Greetings from Daytona, where a band of dreamers took a strip of beach and turned it into a proving ground. The Great American Race, where year after year, greatness is the destination. So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. Once you arrive, you'll never look back. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR. I'm Roger Hoover and it's good to see you again. We've had a 2-week summer vacation. We've had a good time catching our breath here at the Crimson Tide Sports Network studios, but we're glad to be back with everyone starting to talk a little more about football with SEC Media Days. And on today's show, we'll be talking about basketball and soccer as well. We'll take a look at what's coming up on the show thanks to our friends at RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They've given us a smart board to go through everything coming up and our headlines in a really interactive way. We'll start by talking basketball with Jarin Stevenson. It was a very busy spring for him after Alabama's March Madness run. Had to weigh whether or not he wanted to keep his name in the NBA draft. Ultimately, he decided to return to the Crimson Tide. We'll talk about that decision, plus his freshman year at the capstone. Then we'll talk to Sydney Japic, who over the last 2 years has been part of the great Alabama soccer teams, including that team that won the SEC, made it to the College Cup 2 years ago. We'll talk about her larger role coming up for Alabama soccer coming up this year in 2024. Then we'll hear from the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide football team, Kalen DeBoer, as yesterday was a very busy day for him in Dallas, Texas at his first SEC Media Days. A great appearance by Coach DeBoer. We'll hear his comments from the podium at the main stage. We'll start talking some headlines with the baseball team. Congratulations to 6 Crimson Tide baseball players that were drafted. A really good showing by Alabama in the MLB draft over this past weekend, led by Ben Hess, first-round selection by the New York Yankees, pick number 27 overall. Hopefully next week we'll be hearing from Ben Hess on this show about his decision that's coming up to sign with the Yankees. But obviously, first round after 3 great years at Alabama. Congratulations to Ben Hess. He is the 5th first-rounder in Alabama history, so great to see that continue. Another great pitching prospect that was tutored by pitching coach and associate head coach Jason Jackson. And again, 6 players from Rob Vaughn's first team all selected in the draft. And then even looking ahead, 3 signees also selected in the MLB draft. They have the potential to still come to school, still possibly sign with the Major League team, so we'll wait and see on that. But again, a very good showing. Alabama baseball was talked about a lot with the MLB draft. Crimson Tide football team talked about a lot yesterday. So many interviews to catch up on from not only Kalen DeBoer, as he was very busy at his first SEC Media Days, but Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker, Malachi Moore, all guys that we've had on this show in the last few weeks. Very busy yesterday in Dallas, getting to meet with the media, and everyone really positive about this Crimson Tide football team as we're getting closer to fall camp starting and the season beginning against Western Kentucky. Speaking of the season, the men's basketball team, their non-conference schedule in full was announced just a few weeks ago during our break, so great matchups coming up, not only in Tuscaloosa, but all around the country, including some even on the road, like Alabama at Purdue, the Las Vegas tournament during Feast Week around Thanksgiving. Some great games coming up. Check it out at rolltide.com. Aaron Routliffe of the Alabama women's tennis team had a great showing, made it to the finals in doubles at Wimbledon this past week, and now she'll be competing for Team New Zealand at the 2024 Paris Olympics that are just around the corner. So best of luck to one of our friends, one of the first guests we had during the first summer of Crimson Drive, Aaron Routliffe. We look forward to seeing what's coming up for her in Paris, and hopefully we can catch up with her again. Back to the baseball team for a moment. The 2025 Jacksonville College Baseball Classic field was announced, and Alabama will be there coming up at 121 Financial Ballpark in downtown Jacksonville. Crimson Tide, that'll be, I believe, the second week of the season. The Crimson Tide will be joined at that event by a national power in NC State, also Ohio State, and then Coastal Carolina, the team that had the national championship run back in 2016. They'll be there as well, and selfishly, it's my old ballpark. Looking forward to hopefully getting back with the Crimson Tide baseball team at the home of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp coming up. Worlds colliding. Right now, we'll talk basketball, though, here on the show, as Jarin Stevenson will be our first guest, followed by Sydney Japic. Then we'll hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer. But Jarin Stevenson fans loved his performances all throughout the season, his freshman campaign, especially that win in the Elite Eight against Clemson. We'll talk about that and more as Jarin Stevenson joins us now on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roll Tide and welcome back to Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm Roger Hoover inside the Advantage Center. Now, please be joined by Alabama men's basketball forward Jarin Stevenson, now back, ready for a sophomore year here at the Capstone. Jarin, roll Tide, man. Good to see you.
Roll Tide.
Well, what's the summer been like for you? We know you had a very interesting time right after Alabama's run in the Final Four, but how's it been getting back here to Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, it's been nice getting back. I've been working out a whole bunch recently, so just getting back to here and just seeing the fans and just getting back to the people that I knew here. It was nice. And yeah, just getting back with the coaches too, the players, and just seeing them. It was nice.
Yeah, it's really good to have these summer workouts. So what was it like getting to see everybody once again after the Final Four run and also get to meet so many new faces that are on this roster?
Yeah. I feel like we have a great team this year. And again, yeah, seeing the guys again, Trelly and Mo, I'm real tight with Mo. So yeah, just seeing him again. And I feel like we can make a great run this year, win a couple championships. I feel like we have the talent and caliber to do that. So yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming year.
Yeah, everybody's really excited about the news that you decided to withdraw your name from the NBA draft comeback. Mark Sears ended up doing the same thing. What's it like getting to see him and knowing what you guys are capable of on the court at the same time?
Yeah, I feel like we're both great players. Mark, excellent shooter, can really lead the team. He showed that last year, helped lead us through the NCAA tournament, helped us rack up some wins. Yeah, Mark's a great player. That's the reason why he was looked at from the NBA, even being a shorter guard. I mean, that just speaks how much talent and how much skill he has in order to get those looks. So yeah, Mark's a great player, great leader too. So yeah, I mean, that shows.
How much fun is this time of the year kind of getting everybody together for the first time? Who's among the newcomers? Who's really impressed you?
I like LeBaron. Yeah, LeBaron's really tough in my opinion. But yeah, he has great quickness, his ability to handle the ball, use pick and rolls, make the right reads. He's been winning a lot in practice too, so it's always nice when he's on my team because he helps our team win. So I feel like LeBaron's a great player.
And then how about somebody we had in that share talking with us about 3 weeks ago, Big Clifford.
Big Cliff. Oh yeah, Cliff's nice too. He transferred from Rutgers. I'm not sure. Was he like the conference player over there?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a great player. He's real big and strong. So sets great screens, great lob threat, and plays great defense. Able to block shots. He's blocked a couple of my shots. So yeah, he's a great player for sure.
Yeah, does that help your game even more knowing that now, okay, every day in practice you get to go up against a great rim protector, so that when you see them in a game, that's no surprise really.
Yeah. I feel like that's big with me. Getting used to rim protectors and different things like that, going against that in practice like every day, that's going to help improve my game. So yeah, just an addition of Cliff, not only just for games for our team is he going to help in that sense, but he's also going to help our team and just getting around rim protectors and helping in that sense too.
Then how about strength and conditioning? What are you and Henry Barrera working on right now?
Right now I'm in the strong group, so right now I'm just working to build on my strength and what I have right now, working to build on some weight too. That was a big thing that the NBA guys wanted from me, was to build on weight. So yeah, Henry's been on that. Been working out pretty much every day, every weekday especially, getting to it. Yeah, that's the main thing, I feel like.
What kind of motivator is he in the weight room, and then what kind of team does he form along with Clark, along with Amanda, to make sure you have the nutrition the right way?
Yeah, they communicate very well. They all work together very well. He's been a great motivator too, with different exercises. He's always out there just pushing us, trying to push us to the best of our ability, to our top weight, our max. I mean, obviously safely, but like he always pushes us to get stronger. And then again, Clark and Amanda, they've also been great. Amanda always been on me trying to eat, with my eating habits, making sure I get 3 meals a day, eat snacks in between and different things like that so I could build my weight. And then Clark, making sure I get in the get treatment after practice, before practice, making sure my muscles and my ligaments and stuff are all good, and stretching and stuff like that. I feel like Clark's did a good job with that.
All right, you started to laugh when we talked about Amanda and nutrition. What's the toughest thing for you to stick with? Is it the 3 square meals, some of the healthy snacks? What is it?
I'm not a big eater. I used to be, but yeah, I've been slacking a little bit. So Amanda's been on me quite a bit recently. So yeah, just making sure I get my meals in. It's a big point of focus right now with me and Amanda. So yeah, that's it.
That's certainly good. Is any part of that due to how you grew up, mostly in South Korea for a large part of your life?
Yeah, South Korea. I was there for like 6, 7 years, from like first to seventh grade. So yeah, that's like a big part of my life. I was able to watch my dad play over there in South Korea. I grew up in international school, so I didn't really learn too much Korean. I wish I paid more attention in that sense and learned more Korean. But it was nice being able to meet different cultures, because in international school there's different cultures. Like there's Russians, there's Indians, and different people in that sense. So it was nice just meeting people with different cultural backgrounds. And yeah, just growing up overseas, I mean, it's nice just learning about different countries in that sense too.
Yeah, you mentioned your dad playing professionally for a long time. You ended up playing for 20 years professionally after he was a college player at Richmond. Your
crazy.
mom played in North Carolina. I know everyone talks about that around the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So with that kind of background, were you basically born with the basketball in the crib?
Yeah, pretty much. I've been playing pretty much since I was 2. Always had a ball in my hand. My dad always pushed me. Always had a ball around me too. So we had the mini hoop. Always played on that too. Always had fun on that. I have a bigger brother too, so I always competed against him. I feel like he's helped me get better too, and like competition wise, and just competing against him. I feel like he's helped me improve my skills. So yeah, I've been around basketball a lot of my life, and I've learned a lot from that.
So was basketball pretty much the only sport you played growing up, or did you try some other things?
Yeah, I feel like I'm good at other sports too, and I have potential in other sports, but I just kept basketball the main thing. I was thinking about football too, but my parents didn't want me to risk injury in that, because there's a high chance of injury in football, different hits and stuff like that. So I just stuck with basketball.
That's a really good decision. Speaking of, being overseas for your dad's career, I mean, a great long career, and that's tough to do. One of my good friends, Richard Hendricks, did it a long time as well in different spots. Just what is international basketball like? What was it like to grow up around that international pro game?
Yeah. Yeah, the athletes are definitely different. It's a lot better here in America. But I feel like overseas they have a bigger focus on like team wise, like they focus on working together excuse me, as a team, and they do great off-ball things overseas, I feel like, and I feel like that's a great way to play basketball. It's taught me a lot to play off the ball. I feel like it's really helped my game.
So then your family moves back to the States, back to North Carolina. When's your game start to get really sharp? When a lot of colleges start contacting you and trying to get you on their campus one day?
Yeah, I didn't even realize I was that good at first. Yeah, when I came back to the United States, I joined the AAU team. Well, actually, we came over during the summers, since my first to seventh grade. So yeah, like my fourth and fifth grade year, I was playing on a team in my local city. It's called the Bull City Nets. And yeah, that's when it started to click and people started realizing who I was. Yeah, and then from there I joined Team United, and I played there pretty much the rest of my middle school and high school years, and they were one of the best teams in the nation. We played in the EYBL, and that's when I really started to realize, man, I might be this good. So I still feel like I don't realize how good I can be and how good I am, but that really like helped my confidence and stuff, just being able to compete out there with the best players.
Who were some of those best players you were either teammates with or competed against now, maybe you've seen in college basketball, or some that are already on to the pros?
Yeah, teammates wise, Quay Watson, I always thought he was tough. Jackson was pretty cool. Jackson Prunty, he just went to college at Charleston, and competing against different guys too. Like I like the Night Riders. They had a whole bunch of great guys over there. We played them in Peach Jam. We had a close game with them, but I think we lost. At least the last year we did. They always got great guys over there. But yeah, just the different athletes and just competing with them, the different skill levels and their quickness and being able to compete with them, it really helped my confidence.
Really helped your confidence, got you on the radar again of all these college teams. Who were some of the first schools that reached out to you? What was the recruitment process like?
Oh yeah, and Cam Scott. Cam Scott's very tough. He went to South Carolina.
There you go.
Yeah, Cam Scott. Sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, absolutely. With that, playing on a very high level, Peach Jam, huge events like that, you were noticed by colleges. Who were some of the first schools that started to reach out to you, and then when did Alabama start to enter into the picture?
Yeah. So yeah, the first college I reached out was UNC. They were right down the road, 10 minutes. Yeah, I really like UNC. I still think they're a great school and stuff, but and then yeah, Virginia also came in, Missouri, different schools came pouring in after. Well, I got my first offer. I think it was my sophomore year, or maybe the end of my freshman year, maybe. So yeah, during my sophomore year, the offers started coming in. I started to get more interest. Got interest from like Wake Forest, NC State, again Missouri, Georgetown with Patrick Ewing when he was there, and yeah, different schools. And Alabama actually came in like last minute during my junior year. Yeah, Coach Oates was very, very persuasive, and he had a good pitch. He compared me to Noah Clowney and different things like that, and how I would improve in that sense. And yeah, I feel like I made the right decision. Alabama's been great, and yeah, I'm excited.
So did he show you a lot of film of Noah and seeing like we're going to use you exactly this way, different things like that?
Yeah, he did. He showed me different film and spoke about different concepts, what I'd be involved in, and stuff like that.
Is that why you stuck with number 15 as well?
I was 15 in high school too, so I just transferred over.
Yeah, everyone was having fun with that. Your first few games being like, Clowney's still out there, number 15, looking exactly the same with some of the different things you're doing.
Same hairstyle and everything. Yeah.
There you go. Obviously, he's gone on to some really great success. You mentioned you're hearing from a lot of schools. Was it really fun getting all that attention, or did at times it get kind of overwhelming for you?
I'm not really a type of guy that likes a whole bunch of attention. I'm more of a shy type of guy, but it didn't really affect me too much. I mean, to me, it is what it is, and I'm just focused on getting better and getting to my end goal, which is the NBA. So yeah, it didn't really affect me too much.
So Alabama enters into the picture. Not only do you decide on Alabama, but also you decide to reclassify. What went into that decision, joining Alabama a year earlier than maybe you expected?
Yeah, reclassing was always on my mind. I always wanted to do it. I was kind of sick of high school, just sitting there for 7 hours. Then after that, have to practice and all that. Yeah, I was really getting tired of that. So, I mean, I was doing good in school. I was taking all the advanced classes. So, yeah, I was getting kind of sick of that. So I was just ready to get out of there and get to the next step of my journey and keep improving.
Yeah, didn't you have like a 4.5 or something like that?
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah, it was pretty good in school.
That's good. That's about a point and a half higher than I had in school or
Yeah.
college, so that's really good.
Yeah.
So that allows you to make that decision, join Alabama, even though you are a year younger. What was it like first getting here and getting to see this campus and Coleman Coliseum and meet your teammates a year ago?
Yeah, we have a great atmosphere here. I love here. I love the campus layout and everything. Getting to class and stuff like that, and the different social events they have here. Yeah, especially I love the players here too. Even like before I came, I wasn't really able to meet too much of them because again I committed pretty late and stuff like that. But from with the ones I did meet, I mean they were pretty cool. And yeah, I just loved the community they had, especially like the basketball department with Clark, Amanda, and Henry. They really know what they're talking about and stuff like that. That really persuaded me, and it brought me to my decision.
You decide Alabama, you get to play basketball for Nate Oates. So we heard about the recruiting pitch. How about once you were wearing that crimson jersey? How do you feel like he carved out a role for you last year, both on offense and defense?
Yeah, there's a lot of teaching and learning moments for me last year. Yeah, I had to learn how to adjust to the college level with bigger and stronger guys. Working on improving my jump shot and being more consistent in that. I'm still working on being consistent overall in general. I had to learn how to do that. You just learn how to make different impacts in the game, learn how to impact the game in different ways, I guess. Whether it's rebounding, blocking shots, hoping teammates get open, and different things like that. And I feel like throughout the year I got better at that, and my teammates helped me learn different ways to impact the game too. So I feel like that really helped me.
Is this the most you've ever worked on defense in your life, kind of learning how to make that blue collar play and things like that?
Yeah, I had to because the competition at the college level was a lot different. I mean, everybody knows how to play. Everybody's tough. So just learning how to guard different positions too. Whether it's a shorter guard or a big 5 guy, just learning how to guard different positions too.
How many times did you win the hard hat?
The hard hat, I was close a couple of times, but I don't think I won it. I was second like 2 or 3 times. I wish I.
Well, this year that's got to be a golden, right?
That's got to be a goal, but dang, yeah, I was close a couple of times.
There we go. As this basketball team went through its ups and downs a little bit throughout the season, both non-conference play, some really good wins to start SEC play, didn't have the finish you want. How'd you guys stay positive throughout all of that leading up to the great run of March Madness?
Yeah, we were just confident in ourselves. Even throughout the losses, we knew from like practices and stuff, we still compete. Yeah, coach was definitely on us too. We also felt like we had to prove a point, not just to coach, but also just to the naysayers, I guess.
Let all naysayers know.
Let all naysayers know, yep. So, yeah, that really also helped spark a fire in us and proving those people wrong. We knew we had the talent. We have great players, again, like Rylan, Grant, Mark. Like, we really had a whole bunch of guys that could go. So, yeah, we were just confident in ourselves. And just it stuck together, I guess.
And you guys were a long way away from home. You're starting out in Spokane, then you go to Los Angeles, and then eventually Phoenix. They did have a little trip back home in between the Elite Eight and the Final Four, but that also kind of grow the team together because you're spending so much time together around those games.
Yeah, it did. We spent a lot of time, especially during the Final Four. They had this room where they had like games, they had big Jenga, they had a PlayStation, an Xbox, and we were able to bond in there. I felt like that really helped us. We had a close game with UConn. Wasn't able to pull it off, but I felt like that really helped us kind of at least stick in there and cause havoc.
Absolutely. And part of that run, of course, you saw it, I'm sure, when the bracket came out. There's a potential Alabama could play your mom's alma mater in the school you grew up nearby, the University of North Carolina. What was it like getting to suit up against the Tar Heels? Obviously, a great win for the Crimson Tide. How meaningful was that night for you and your family?
To me, it wasn't like a crazy win. Again, the goal for that was just getting to the national championship. It got me locked in more. I did want to beat them for sure. I paid attention to the scout and stuff, but I guess after that win, I'm just focused on the next game. It was the Clemson game, and I didn't have the best game during the North Carolina game. I don't think I even scored. I made different impacts defensively and stuff, but I feel like that game really helped me for the next game and helped me get locked in. But yeah, again, with the North Carolina game, I wasn't too crazy over it. My mom was a little bit in the middle, but I wasn't really too focused on the opponent, I guess, but just focusing on just getting the win.
Got the win, took on Clemson. That led to one of your better offensive performances that you had not only in the NCAA tournament but all throughout the year. What led to some of the success in that game?
Yeah, again, just not having the best game against UNC. That really sparked a fire in me and they wanted me to prove a point, I guess. And then, just those 2 air balls kind of made me mad too. So after knocking that first shot down, that really got me going. Just seeing the ball go through after those air balls, it really got me confident. And then defensively, I feel like defensively also helped me get locked in offensively too. Getting stops, I drew a charge, getting rebounds and just fighting in there. I feel like that also helped me.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. Great moment. Alabama punches its tickets to the program's first Final Four, and that means a week later you're back in the Phoenix area to play in the Final Four against UConn. Tell us, first of all, about playing basketball in a football stadium with that crazy crowd. So many people there to watch you play, but also the shooting background is a lot different. Did it take a little bit to get adjusted to that?
Yes, it's huge. It's a crazy environment. There's people all around. And yeah, the court looks tiny out there.
And it's elevated a little bit too. Is that different too?
It is. Yeah, it definitely messes with the depth perception too, with nothing being behind the basket and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely an experience for sure. And then you just having everybody around you, it's an experience for sure.
Well, quite a run. You're part of the best Alabama basketball team we've ever seen, making a run to the Final Four. What was it like the next few weeks for you as you decided to think about your future, whether it's coming back to Alabama or testing the pro waters?
Again, yeah, my main goal is to make it to the NBA. That's always been my goal since I was younger and stuff. So yeah, I just went out, tested, and worked out for a couple of teams again. And I feel like I got better through the experience, learned a lot, was able to speak with different coaches on what to work on. And yeah, it's really helping me during this summer, learning what to work on for even just for this next upcoming season. And to help improve my draft stock for the next year and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like that feedback really helped me.
What's some of the main feedback you're working on right now, or that's going to be a huge point of emphasis for you when we do start the season?
Just being more consistent, making plays. They said I showed flashes, but I need to be more consistent. And yeah, just going in there, making more not dirty plays, but doing the dirty work and getting rebounds, getting teammates open, and just different things like that. That was a big point of emphasis too.
And fans are looking forward to seeing that. What do you feel like your role is going to be on this team with all the new talent that's coming back, plus the really good returners like you mentioned a moment ago?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, just what do you feel like your role is going to be, and what do you hope your role is going to be this year on this team?
Yeah, I hope my role is, I'm not exactly sure what my role is going to be, but I'm just willing to do whatever it takes to make us be a successful team and help us win championships. And I'll be a knockdown shooter, go down, make some plays, drive. I feel like I have a good IQ with that and making the right play in that sense. Playing defense too, blocking shots. I feel like I could do a lot of things on the court. So you're just doing everything, I feel like. Yeah.
We're certainly looking forward to seeing it. Jarin Stevenson, thank you so much for the time you've given us here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Just best of luck here in the summer months. Hopefully we'll chat again a little bit closer to the season, but thank you for your time. Roll Tide.
All right, thank you. Roll Tide.
Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR and experience racing like never before. From the sandy beaches of Daytona to the high banks of one of the most exciting superspeedways on the NASCAR circuit. Don't miss out as NASCAR kicks off the 2025 season with the Daytona 500 on February 16th, 2025. Witness history in the making and purchase your tickets today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. Well, we race on over from basketball to soccer because it's not going to be long before the Crimson Tide soccer team will hit the pitch coming up this coming August. Nearly said spring, but coming up this August, we will see the Alabama Crimson Tide return to the soccer pitch at the Alabama Soccer Stadium. A lot of excitement based on the great runs to the NCAA tournament over the last 3 years, especially that SEC championship and College Cup season in 2022. A freshman on that campaign was Sydney Japic, as she was able to work her way into the rotation that year, played a lot of minutes for the Crimson Tide a year ago, and now as a junior, she is one of the leaders for this Crimson Tide soccer team, and she joins us next this week on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you from Bryant-Denny Stadium at the Advantage Center, and it's time to talk Alabama soccer. We have Crimson Tide junior Sydney Japic joining us now. And first of all, Sydney, roll Tide, and does it feel a little bit odd for me to call you a junior?
A little bit, yeah, definitely. My freshman year definitely felt like a freshman with a bunch of seniors and fifth years. So now being called a junior, it seemed like time has flown by so far.
It really has, and you've been here during one of the best runs Alabama soccer has ever had. How much fun has it been being a student athlete here during a period like this?
It's amazing. I mean, Alabama loves winners for sure, and so just being a part of that group where we won the SEC, made it to the Final Four, got able to make history. That's every college player's dream. And so just riding that high and having people just asking me like, "Oh my gosh, were you there during your Final Four run?" and just getting to say that, and just the group of girls were amazing. Just getting brought into such a team and community that just really cares about winning and cares about one another has been great. And so I'm trying to just bring that to the younger players and hopefully bring more rings and trophies home.
That really is special. And for so long, Alabama soccer had been kind of searching, trying to build that identity. You were able to join the program at a time where it was still before the SEC championship or the Final Four run. What was kind of the vision you were sold on about Alabama?
I was just sold on the fact that it's a family here, and Alabama, from football to basketball to baseball to softball, every single sport here, it's just winners. They breed winners, and I wanted to be a part of something that was just bigger than myself, and where I was able to go on and just be proud of the school that I was able to represent. And I fully felt that Alabama was going to do that, especially with soccer. I had the belief of watching their games, even though, especially the year before I got here, they didn't get the wins that they wanted. Seeing kind of the vision that Wes had and what every player had, you can feel the hunger, you could feel the tenacity, and just that they wanted to play soccer. It wasn't just kick and run. It was they were trying to build out of the back, and I just was able to see that it was just going in the right direction.
And speaking of other sports on campus, I mean, you guys became the most popular team, it felt like, on campus in the fall of 2022. How incredible was it to see in the stands, football players, men's and women's basketball players, baseball, softball? I mean, everybody was at those games.
It was awesome for sure, especially because some of my closest friends were in the stand, and it was just nice for them to be at our games supporting us at their games. But definitely super cool. Like, everyone is like, "Oh my gosh, this famous player, this famous player." I'm like, yeah, I just see him in the dining hall every day. Like, what? Like, she's special. But definitely, like, it makes you kind of forget that people from the outside, like, Alabama's everything to them and it's everything to us. But at the same time, like, oh yeah, these are just my other student athlete friends. So it's super cool. You forget sometimes, and then you go on social media and you see all of these people getting posted about or talked about, and you're like, wow, like I really am a part of something special here.
You certainly are. And this time of the year, campus is a little less busy, but for the soccer team, Wes and I have talked about it forever. Soccer's got the shortest preseason right before that first game. Is there a sense of urgency, even as we talk right now in mid-July, about what you need to do to get ready for mid-August?
In a sense, yes. I think it's a lot easier for Wes when the team kind of has captains and leaders that set the tone. Like, going back to my freshman year, Riley set the tone. Riley Mattingly and Kat Rogers set that tone from day one. They showed up ready to work, pushing everyone, and they kind of said the hard things that needed to be said, which set the tone for the rest of the year. Something I really remember was we do running and people want to bend over, and first day we do running and I bend over and they stand up, and you're like, what? And so definitely that of just assertiveness. So definitely, like, mid-July when we all get here, it's kind of having that leadership, showing the younger players, which makes it easier for Wes. But definitely some urgency. But in captain's practice, you feel that everyone's ready, everyone's hungry to win again. Everyone's foot is on the gas, so it's really exciting.
Is there really fitness at this time of the year, or a lot of technical soccer things you're trying to iron out before the full organized team workouts begin?
It's mainly fitness, just trying to make sure that everyone's in shape, everyone's ready, because I think the biggest part is everyone on our team is fit. It's just more about having that mental strength of being able to pass the beep test, of being able to do every single run. Something that I've been saying recently is just being accountable for yourself and being accountable for the team, and knowing that when games do start, being able to look at the player next to you and be like, you know what, if I know that she's going to give her full in the next 90 minutes and I can trust that. So definitely accountability. But in captain's practice, that kind of is where we're able to let loose and just build chemistry with one another and have fun with one another. So those games are always intense, always fun, but it's when you kind of see, like, okay, this person's been working over the summer. Like, you see that everyone like coming back where they're at and then just working with one another.
And how important is that with all the newcomers that are going to be on this roster as well? Not just freshmen, but also a lot of transfers coming in.
Definitely just showing them, like, what our culture is and the culture of winning. I mean, but Wes brings in players who know what winning is and they want to win. So I feel like that's not really an issue. But definitely just working with each other, just getting the style of play down and working towards a style of play that we want to get. Not, I think even still my junior year, like I'm still trying to work towards being the player that Wes needs me to be and the best player that I can be possible. And so I think bringing in other players also shows everyone else a different side of the game that can be like, oh, like I never thought of playing like that, or I never thought of this. So they've definitely been a huge help. And these young players, they keep me young, they keep everyone else young, they keep us all hungry and wanting to win more.
Well, at one point you were a young player as well, and let's back up a little bit and talk about your journey to Alabama. First of all, how'd you get introduced to the sport of soccer? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Palo Alto, California. My dad played Division II basketball at San Francisco State, so I definitely grew up in an athletic family. My parents threw me into every single sport since I was young, just realized that soccer was just my one love of wanting to play.
What was it that helped stand out about it the most?
Everything. I don't know. Like whenever people ask that, I love the game. Like just being able to go out and just touch the ball with my feet, juggle, pass against the wall, like the rhythm of the passing, like being able to have all the different technical skills, it's just everything to me. My family and I, we traveled to Europe when I was younger, probably 12. And my sister and I just had the ball at our feet the entire time. We're juggling in front of all of these amazing monuments all across Europe. But it's just something where it's like I wanted the ball at my feet all the time. Like I just love the game. I just can't explain it. It's so hard to talk about.
You mentioned you grew up in Palo Alto. Did you grow up around the Stanford campus very much? Did you go there often?
Yeah, I live right across the street from there. So definitely watching a bunch of Stanford football games, soccer games. And my parents always, when I was younger, were, you're going to go to Stanford? And growing up, I was like, I want to try something else. I stayed with the red, so picked a good color. But it was definitely, I didn't realize how different it was to like not grow up around a college campus versus when I did, because I moved to Dallas, Texas my junior and senior year during COVID to keep playing soccer because California was shut down. And that was definitely a culture shock of just not growing up near a college town. But now being back, I'm so glad that I am in a college town, especially somewhere like Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to bring up that point because, again, you were kind of going on your path. Your sister was playing a few years ahead of you. She goes to Baylor. And then everything changes with COVID. How did that kind of rock your path a little bit? And how did you eventually settle on going to Dallas to be able to continue to play?
It was definitely hard, just slowly seeing like we're not going to be playing club soccer anymore. I was playing in the development academy, seeing that get shut down. But being on the phone with college coaches, like it was kind of like a waiting period. They were like, we don't know what's going on. You guys don't know what's going on. But for me, honestly, I think it was a blessing because I was able to take that break as an opportunity of, okay, other people are going to take a rest and other people are going to take this as time off. And I'm going to take this to be the best player that I can. So me and my sister were out training every day. When she left for college, I was still going and training by myself, working out. And I had college coaches on the phone be like, this was actually what got you recruited here because we saw that you made such an improvement over this break and we know that you're dependable and reliable. So for me, that was huge. But after a few months in COVID, I started my junior year in California online and my parents kind of had a discussion. They brought it up as a joke. They're like, hey, would you want to move to go play soccer? And I was like, you guys are joking. We're not serious right now. And then they're like, no, like if you want to do this, we'll do this. So we, my mom has family in Texas. Obviously my sister was in Texas at the time. So we emailed a few club coaches, sent out my film, and they got back and were like, we'd love to have you. So I went and I tried out with a few teams and then settled on FC Dallas. And they were ranked number 5 in the country at the time, which was an insane opportunity that I'm still so blessed to have to be able to play there. But at that point, then a bunch of college coaches started reaching out like, you got on this really good team. How'd you do that? And I was like, well, I like to think that I'm somewhat decent, but it definitely opened up my eyes to a lot more Southern schools that I wasn't really thinking about or interested in when I was in California because you're kind of pushed to stay on the West Coast when you're there. So it definitely COVID was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I think people probably don't realize that Alabama's roster is built up with players from the club scene in Texas, Colorado, of course, with Wes's connections there as well. But I mean, the club atmosphere has got to be intense, and that helped, I'm sure, your game get to this level.
Yeah, all of my teammates from the club level at FC Dallas, I think everyone but 2 girls went to play Division I, Power 5. So it was a great team. We all pushed each other every single day, and it really made it easier to have the club to college kind of transfer over because we practiced and trained at such a high intensity and played at a high intensity that when I came here, I felt like I was prepared and ready, that it wasn't that big of a shift, because my dad always tells me practice hard so the game is easy. And I think that's what I did in the club level. I trained every single day hard. I played every single day hard. So when I came to college, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to compete.
Yeah, when I was getting ready for this interview, I just typed in Sydney Japic into YouTube, and my goodness, there were a million clips of you playing. I looked at Chloe. She had the same thing. You guys had websites. Was that all designed for recruiting? Who helped you with all that stuff? Because, again, it was a pretty impressive presentation online.
Thank you. That goes all to my mom and dad. They're great. My mom works in marketing, and my dad does a lot of data analytics. So my mom was just like, what's the best way we can market you guys? And our club coach always talked about, when I was younger, like having film and watching film of yourself. And that kind of turned into clipping, highlight videos of ourselves for recruiting. Definitely a lot of props to my older sister. She made the recruiting process really easy for me, because she was kind of their trial bunny, I guess is what you could say. But she definitely helped a lot. And then my parents were like, we're going to make a website for you. They did a lot of cool analytics where you could see if you emailed a college coach a link, like they embedded a specific link for each coach. You could see if the coach actually opened the email, how long they spent on each web page, if they opened the web page, if they clicked the video. So that was a super cool thing to see, especially when I couldn't talk to college coaches, just to see if like, hey, this is worth my time, because they actually are opening and reading my emails.
How much time would you spend on emails? I mean, were you emailing everybody in the SEC or Power 5 schools?
It definitely, because my list kind of wasn't, a lot of people sometimes like, oh, I don't want to go to the South. I don't want to go to this cold climate. For me, I didn't really have I wanted a Power 5 school. I wanted to go somewhere where athletes were appreciated. So definitely SEC. I would say Bama and Auburn were really the only schools that I've reached out to. I had interest from other schools, but that was kind of later on after I set my mind on Alabama. But definitely I casted a huge net, which I think a lot of young players don't do. They kind of get caught up in the, oh, I want to go to this big name school. I want to go to the UCLAs. I want to go to the UNC. And they don't realize how much more goes into college besides just the soccer aspect. And that made me realize that, especially when I broke my hand, I thankfully picked a great school where I was like, I still love this school. I'm still so happy going here, even though I can't be playing soccer right now. So definitely I casted a wide net, and I'm so thankful for that.
Absolutely. Alabama is too. For you, how did you kind of settle into being in a defender role after we talked about your love of soccer from the start? And a lot of people just want to go out there and score goals or maybe be a goalkeeper, but how'd you pick on a defender?
I was kind of pushed into that role, but I fell in love with it from the start. I think the art of defending is beautiful. I love just being able to say, like, hey, like, we got a clean sheet. I love going into a hard tackle, but also I feel like my role as a defender is distributing the ball, and I feel like I get to dictate the play a lot, and just I feel like in control, especially being the vocal person that I am. I think the defender role fits me perfectly because I can see the field in front of me, and just communicate with the rest of my teammates. But I don't like, it's the same thing when you ask why I love soccer. Like I love defending. I think even though I do love scoring goals in practice, if I score a goal, I'm almost about to take my shirt off and run around and never get to score. But no, I think defending is so fun, and it's something that takes a lot of focus, and it's very overlooked. And for me, I think it's my club coach always said to me, you win games off of one goal. You can win a game if you just score once. And everything starts from defending, and it starts from the building out of the back, and just making a big tackle is the best feeling in my opinion. And I just love it.
And you're a defender who can score. We saw that in some of those YouTube videos.
Yep.
A lot of set pieces. I mean, how do you feel like you impact your team in a spot like that?
Definitely my height helps. I can say a lot with that, but I've learned a lot of reading the ball. Since I was younger, my coach always talked about reading the ball in the air and the flight of the ball. So I feel like on those set pieces, that definitely helps a lot. And knowing that when I go in the box, because I don't have every opportunity to score, I'm not a forward, like every single moment to me means the world, where I'm like, I can go in right now and I can be the difference maker and I can go score, or I can set the ball back across to help someone else score. I can slash the keeper so the keeper gets distracted. And in any way, it's not really about me scoring. It's about how can I help the team the most to get that goal.
In your Alabama time, Felicia Knox, loved watching her, of course, all throughout the match, but especially set pieces, corner kicks. How good was her service?
10 out of 10. I can't say enough about Felicia. She is definitely a special player. Seeing her now play pro is just the coolest thing, but she Man, that girl's got skills. Every single time we were in practice, she would come dribbling at me and I'd get nervous. I'm like, wow, I don't know what she can do. She just has so many tricks up her sleeves and is just such a creative and brilliant player. But I knew on every single set piece, I'm like, I know where this ball is going because she can hit that consistently every single time. She's phenomenal. Great player.
About as good as you've seen even on the international stage.
Yeah, no, she just plays to her strengths for sure. I know she always talked about, like, I'm not the most athletic, I'm not the tallest, I'm not the fastest, but she makes the game work and she can control the game. Especially you would see in certain games when we were tied or losing, she would like have the next gear when you're already like, okay, she has to be in the top gear, and she could take the next gear and go and dribble 5 people, and you're like, where did this come from? Like, it's insane. So she's definitely one of my favorite players I've played with, and she's amazing.
So you got to join her here at Alabama. We talked a little bit about the recruiting process. Again, what was it about the Crimson Tide that stood out when you were trying to make that decision, especially your relationship with Coach Hart?
Well, before Wes, coming on campus, I did an ID camp here, and I was leaving with my dad in the car, and I looked at him and I said, this is the only school I want to go to. Like, this feels like home. They would actually ask me every day. They said, if every school gave you the exact same amount of money, if every school you would play 90 minutes, where'd you go? And I'd say, I don't know. And then I finally came to Bama, and it just felt like home to me. But Wes, he's definitely a player's coach. He cares about every single one of us like we're his own kid. And I just believe in like his building out of the back. I love the SEC and how physical it is, but he loves the game of soccer. Like, he's so involved in our team. Him, Mike, Hannah, Jero, like, they all pop in when we play Rondo. It's never felt forced, where it's like, I've never felt pressure to perform from him. I feel pressure to perform from myself, but for him, like, he cares about each and every one of us, not just as a soccer player, but as a person and a student athlete. And so I just wanted to go somewhere where like I was appreciated from a coaching standpoint. And he did that. He cares for all of us. And I can't say great things enough about him. Like, and he loves the game of soccer, which is my favorite part too. Like, he doesn't want to just care about winning or scoring goals. Like, he wants to play the game right, but he also adds his own twist to it, a twist that I love and I think is brilliant. And so he definitely is one of my favorite coaches I've played for, if not my favorite so far.
And does it help, too, that he has the experience to go along with that love for the game and the tactics? I mean, he played the MLS. He coached also clubs, so he knows how to make the transitions for players into playing at a higher level.
Oh, for sure. You can definitely tell. He doesn't yell much on the bench. He's not up in arms and screaming in everyone's face, but he can see things that other coaches don't see. And I know that if I go to him, I'm like, hey, I don't understand in this situation. And he will tell me, he's like, I don't know, like, there's no one answer, but he can give me these 5 other answers of, okay, well, if this happens, then you can go here. And if this happens, like, he seems the game from like a player's standpoint, where it's hard if you just have a coach who never really played at a high level and they just are kind of a coach where he understands and he lets us all play freely. He's never, okay, the ball has to go from A to B to B to C to C to D. Like, he's like, if the ball wants to go A to C to D back to B and whatever, like, he lets us play freely. And it's just because he understands that the game is not black and white. Like, there's just so much gray that you can't account for. And so that's just what makes him, again, one of my favorite coaches.
Yeah, and you mentioned he loves to build from the back, and the phrase he would always tell us getting ready for a broadcast is, we've got to hunt the ball. Mm-hmm. And I imagine for you as a defender, you got to love hearing that, and especially the great teammates you've had in the back lines the first 2 years. That's been the backbone of this program, hunt the ball.
Hunt, for sure. I say that even now when I go play in our summer league, I yell, I'm like, hunt. And I'm like, oh, I don't think people understand what I'm saying, but especially as a defender. But it really came, I think the person who started it all for us was Riley Mattingly up in that forward spot, because that's where the hunt really starts. I mean, it can happen anywhere on the field, but mainly like she would lose the ball or we would start to slowly close. Like, her art of defending was beautiful. Like, I don't think it gets spoken enough about Riley. Is she obviously was a great goal scorer. She created so much space for other people, but she was so intelligent where she would bait players to start dribbling and then she would go. And not only that, but especially our team, our freshman year, we had so much accountability and trust within one another, where as soon as we say now, if she goes, we go. As soon as Riley started going, as soon as Kate Henderson started going, as soon as anyone started going, the second person was always there to press. And it was always the tenacity of, I'm going to get this ball. And Wes always says, like, when you go to hunt, you're not going to make it easier for the second person behind you to make it predictable. You're going to win the ball, and you're going with that mindset of, I'm going to win. I'm going to strip this girl of this ball. And that just makes the biggest difference. But I definitely love the word hunt. I love a high press. And so being able for him to say that of like, okay, yeah, now we're on the front foot, like let's go get after him, because that's my favorite thing about soccer. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna make it hard. I want to make you hate playing. I want to make you never want to step on the field. Like, and I think that's something that we're trying to get the young players to also buy into. Like, we want to make the other team not want to play out of the back. We want to make them step off the field and go, wow, we could not breathe against Alabama.
And that certainly was the case in the 2022 season, as Alabama, as you mentioned, wins the SEC championship, makes it to the Final Four as well, the College Cup. For you joining that team that had a lot of returners coming back as a true freshman, you were able to see the field pretty early, even get a starting role pretty early. What do you feel like kind of earned you some early playing opportunities that year?
Definitely what I talked about before, kind of training at the high level. I mean, I don't know if I fully would have started. Bella, our center back, got injured at the time in preseason, and we definitely missed her a lot back there. But being able, I think, to be coachable, not only from Wes and Mike, but being coachable from, we had McKinley Crone, a 6-year goalkeeper, and that made me feel so comfortable. I had Sasha Pickard, I have Raina Reyes, I had Jessica Skorka all next to me. So they definitely, and Macy in front of me, like I was surrounded by all these experienced players, where it took a lot of pressure off of me, where I'm like, okay, I know I can go and play my game. But every single time, I never took anything for granted just because I got to start my first game. I was like, okay, now what's next? How do I help the team now win? It wasn't even about me starting. If it had to be me coming off of the bench, or me getting a few minutes, or me starting and then immediately getting subbed off, I'm like, what can I do with my time on the field to make the most of it to help that win? And I think everyone else had that mindset too. But I can't even take full accountability for me helping the back line, because honestly, like, they helped me, like Raina and Jess and Sasha and Mac, like they made my life so much easier as a freshman. And not with just the talking, but I knew I could trust them. And they told me all the time, like, you know, we trust you back here, just play your game. And that definitely made me like fit into the role that they had for me back there.
Yeah, another teammate we got to brag on, Raina Reyes, because she was so versatile. Even, you know, you talk about the goal scoring with her, but her defense, especially last year, really shone out.
She, another one of a phenomenal player that it doesn't surprise me at all that she's now in the WPSL and killing it and playing for Mexico. That was our get out of jail free card, definitely in the back line. If there was ever a problem, like, you know, if we give Raina the ball, Raina's got it. Raina's going to dribble. Man, that girl's physical. She's hungry. She stands up for her teammates for sure. If someone made a hard tackle on me, on Macy, or someone else, Raina's going after them and she's getting that ball right back. Like, she's tenacious, and she's just like Felicia, but like can just pull things from anywhere in her back pocket. Like, she pulls it out and you're like, wow, how did she just get out of that? But she's just so versatile all over the field. Like, loves to get in a tackle, will work back on defense, can read the game so well, can distribute the ball. I'm very lucky to say that I got to play with her for sure.
Absolutely. And when I think back to 2022, all the great wins in SEC play, the NCAA tournament come to mind. The one I go back to over and over again is the Clemson match. On that Sunday night, it felt like such a turning point for this program. Did you kind of feel that, even though it was still your first couple months with this team, did you feel like this was a shifting moment for this group to go forward towards the championship?
As soon as I stepped on that field, the first thing I thought was, whoa. I was like, I've never experienced this. I mean, the fans for sure, they got in Clemson's head. Like, just them being there every single year that we've had a crowd, or when people come to our games, that helps us so much. And not just because it makes us feel good, but it makes the other team like, wow, like they have people like yelling in our ear, chirping at us. So for sure, but definitely as a team, like, we just went after Clemson. It seemed like that 22 year, there was just no mercy. It was, we're going to go after them. We're going to hunt. We're going to, like I said before, we're going to make sure that we suffocate them in their back line. And every opportunity we took, every goal that we scored, it seemed like we were all acting like it was our last opportunity ever on earth to step on the field again. And that's how we played every single game. But no, for sure, that Clemson game is what started off. Like, we finished that game, I was walking on the field, I was like, okay, I'm feeling good about this. I'm like, this is my freshman year, and this is what we have. Like, this is great. I mean, but again, it's not anything to do with me. It was what everyone else, those seniors, those fifth years, those juniors who went through that time in COVID and went through that rebuilding period with Wes, they set the foundation of this team, and I'm just so lucky that I got to be a part of it, and I am a part of it still. And so I'm trying to carry on their legacy through my next 2 years and just kind of teach the younger players, like, this is what Riley fought for. This is what Sasha fought for. This is what Mac fought for. Because at the end of the day, it's all nice to have the UCLA and the Dukes with their 5-star players and their national team players and whatever. But I think that's what was so funny, is especially when we got to the Final Four, we looked around, we're like, this girl's on the national team and this girl's on the national team, and they have 7 national team players and we don't have anyone on the national team, but we're still here and we deserved the right to be here. So it was definitely a team that just had tenacity and had hunger. And I still feel that every single day in preseason. I'm trying to think back to that freshman year and I'm like, I was hungry then. Everyone was hungry then. And I'm hungry now, and I'm still ready to win and win more, for them especially.
Yeah, and that was such a great moment. Again, that Clemson win, you're able to start SEC play strong. But for you personally, things derailed a little bit with a hand injury. What can you tell us about that injury and your comeback? Obviously, we love seeing you play later in the year in the NCAA tournament, but how difficult was that to navigate when everything seemed like it was going to script and then you had something change it?
That's life. Unfortunately, in the life of sports, that's just kind of what gets thrown at you. And I never really had a big injury in my life where I had to be out for a long time. But yeah, it was against North Texas. There was 6 minutes left in the game. All of a sudden, I just get a ball, I pass, and I just get my legs taken out of me. And I'm laying on the ground. I remember Kat walking up, and she's like, take the time, take time, you're good. I'm like, I don't want to go out of the game. I want to keep playing. And so I just try to convince myself. I'm like, it's just dislocated, it's fine. And then kind of getting the news the next day that it's going to be broken. And then I'm like, I could just put a cast on it, wrap it. No, you're going to have to get pins. You're going to have to sit out. That was definitely heartbreaking. I couldn't say I was happy every single day going to practice. At least I was still able to run, but not being able to train with the team. But McKinley Crone told me the best, I still had a role on the team. And I found that my role was going to be, how can I be the best teammate possible to everyone else? Because I know what it's like to go out there and feel the pressure of, I could lose my starting spot. If I make a mistake, I could get pulled off right now. And so I was just trying to think of, if I was out there, what would I want my teammate to do? And I kind of had to put my ego and my feelings to the side, especially when the games roll around, because every single person wants to be on that field. You don't come to college to be, I'm okay with wearing the shirt and just sitting on the bench. Everyone wants to play. But I think, again, that's what made our team so special, is our entire bench, whoever was injured, not injured. It was Mudita that Coach Murph talks about that we really started implicating into our team. Was I was so happy for someone else on the field, even though I didn't get to be on the field. No matter how much I would have given up to be on the field, everyone on the sideline had that feeling. And even the people who came off, everyone was cheering. Everyone was working hard for each other and was so happy if someone else got the goal or if someone else got the big assist. And that's just kind of what my focus was okay, my hand's going to heal. We're going to be fine. Even though I begged the surgeon, I was like, can we please wait? I'm like, can we wait till after the season, please? I'm like, can we put this? But obviously said no. But it was more about, okay, my hand's going to heal. I'll be back. What can I do to stay fit, to be accountable to my team? But then also, how can I, in this moment right now, what can I do to make my team better? And at that point, it was just being the best teammate I could be.
Led to a really successful season. Sophomore year, what are you most proud of from that last year's group?
I think it's always hard losing a bunch of older players, even though we still had older players, but having the Riley and the Cat and a bunch of strong leaders on our team obviously move on in their life. But it was just, we didn't ride that high. It never seemed like, okay, we won the SEC last year, we're all okay with one ring. No, everyone wanted to go back out there. Everyone was hungry to win still. I think we faced a lot of adversity, teams. We had a target on our back now, and I think that's the hardest thing of, okay, now everyone's looking for, we got to beat Alabama, and we have to do all this. But I think my favorite moment was definitely the Iron Bowl, getting that win. It's always nice to keep that trophy home, but I know I didn't play a substantial amount of minutes in that game, but Wes kind of put me in that attacking mid-roll, and as soon as I played that ball to Bella and she got the touch off and I went to Felicia's feet, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be it. And as soon as the ball hit the back of the net, it was just a sigh of relief. And for sure, beating Auburn is always my favorite. I'm like, Final Four is great. Definitely my favorite memory then. But until we do that again, beating Auburn for sure was, especially in that way. I think they definitely thought that they had us, but we had them pinned down, and it was only a matter of time before we scored.
Yeah, you become an Alabama legend when you beat Auburn. And then I imagine, too, just getting the recognition the last couple of years inside this stadium, Bryant-Denny Stadium, you get your championship ring from the year before, and 100,000 people are cheering you guys on. How cool is that moment?
Oh, it's amazing, which is crazy to think that the football players do it every single Saturday. But definitely just the love from the fans and the appreciation, and it just makes you realize that you're part of something bigger than yourself or just bigger than soccer. Like, this school means everything to everyone who goes here, not just student athletes. But we appreciate, obviously, Alabama giving us that recognition, because they could so easily just be like, oh, yeah, y'all won, like, just go to the side. But definitely being a female athlete and having that kind of platform and getting that recognition. And now that leads to more people coming to our games and more people having support and getting to inspire younger players. And so just doing that, I think that's another big thing about coming to Bama, is having that platform of, now maybe if there's a young girl at a football game, she's, oh, those are soccer players. Those girls look like me. Like, those are girls out there on that field. So it's definitely always awesome to think about the fact that we get to inspire younger players and bring a bigger audience to Alabama, because we want to be an everything school. And so just to be a part of that is always awesome.
Well, we love watching you for the Crimson Tide, but fans have also enjoyed keeping up with what you've been up to during some international play for the Bosnian national team at different age levels. First of all, just tell us about your Bosnian heritage, what's allowed you to play on these teams, and how much you enjoy that kind of level of international competition.
So my dad is born and raised in Bosnia. He escaped during the war, and then, like I said before, went to college and played basketball at San Francisco State. That allowed me to get citizenship there through my dad. So me and my two other sisters, we all have citizenship. And he was actually scrolling one day, I think back in 2015, 2016 on Facebook, and he sees something about the women's Bosnian national team. And he's, would you guys want to go play in Bosnia? And I was like, sure, why not? Like, I've never been, that'd be so cool. And he sends over film of me and my sister, and thankfully they liked what they saw. And so we went over and played, and that kind of snowballed into me going back, playing for the U16s, U17s, the U19 team. And then it led to us both playing on the full team. That experience has been great. I mean, I've got to play against England. I've played against Italy. I've played against Portugal. So teams like that, obviously, it opens your eyes to more, okay, college is my competition now, but wanting to play professional in the future, like, these are all girls that are going to be in my competition. And so, but it definitely opens your eyes, like playing against Italy, these girls are doing all these tricks on the field, and I'm like, I do this in practice. Like, you guys are doing this on the field. So it's definitely, it was just awesome to see the difference of the style of play and the way that they play. But it definitely took some notes during that game. But no, it's so fun, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Anytime I just get to go and play soccer, I'm grateful for that. So it's just been fun, and getting to play with my older sister. We don't get to play a lot together anymore. So every time we can step out on a field together, I will always take that.
Yeah, how much fun is it to play with her? I think I mentioned it during the broadcast one time. You were playing UC Irvine one day. She was playing for Virginia. Same day, Sweet 16, both of you in action when she was playing for Virginia. But just how much has she meant to you in your soccer career?
Oh, that girl's my everything. I mean, thankfully, she's my sister. But if not, she would have been my best friend and is my best friend. She's the reason why I got into soccer, and honestly, she's the reason why I'm the competitor I am today. I've always had her to look forward and look up to, and every single day it's okay. So she's working out extra. Now I got to go work out extra, because I got to one up her. If she got 100 passes against the wall, I'm going to get 101 passes against the wall. It was always a competition between us, and having that built-in best friend and built-in competitor just made me who the person I am today. But getting to see both of us live out our college dreams and international dreams. She's an amazing player. Like, every single time I watch every single game, if they're playing before us, I'm always on my phone. People are like, what are you watching? I'm just watching my sister play. But no, she definitely has been a huge inspiration to me, and it just makes me so happy that I get to see her live out her dreams, especially playing at Virginia, a great, great, great soccer school. And she deserves the world, and she's the hardest worker I know. People tell me I work hard. I'm like, I don't do half the stuff that she does. And then getting to play with her, I mean, she makes my life so much easier. She's kind of that outside back, like attacking mid player. So getting her the ball and just watching her do her thing and being the tenacious player that she is just, it's awesome.
Who knows? Maybe one day a College Cup matchup or a national championship game between Virginia and Alabama later this year. You could see it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Unfortunately, Bama would have to win. So no matter how much I root for her, we will be the winners. But yeah, no, definitely.
That's really cool. As we start to wrap things up, again, we're in July. We're only about a month away from fans' first opportunity to come watch you guys play. And obviously, we're excited for September and October, all the SEC matches. Just as we wrap things up, what can you tell our fans to be excited about for Alabama soccer this year?
Be excited for our young energy, for sure. We have a deep bench where we have so many good players and so many playmakers. I know we had Felicia last year who really dictated the play, but this year we have brought so many new players in, transfers, early enrollees who are now freshmen who love to be on the ball, who love to dribble, who love to make creative plays happen. And so our attack's going to be awesome. And I know we're going to finish a bunch of goals. We have great goal scorers up there. We just got Nedya from Portland. We have Gianna coming back. We have Kate Henderson. We have Atala Jameli. We have so many great players up top. But then also like just everything's going to be great. Like our defense is going to be on lockdown. You're going to see some pretty big tackles, some pretty big hits. But also you're just going to see great soccer and exciting soccer that's forward and goal scoring. And it's going to be full, intense 90 minutes. There's going to be no breaks off.
Can't wait. Sydney Japic, we're excited for what's coming up for you and the Crimson Tide soccer team this fall. Just thank you for your time with us here on Crimson Drive. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Thank you for having me.
Greetings from Daytona, where year after year, greatness is the destination. So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Well, the unofficial start to college football is here, and it's Kalen DeBoer at SEC Media Days. The first time that he's gone through this event, we saw him along with Malachi Moore, Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker meet with the media yesterday in Dallas, Texas at SEC Media Days, and we wanted to bring you Kalen DeBoer's appearance at the podium at the main stage of SEC Media Days as he talked about what's ahead for the Crimson Tide as he gets ready for his first year as Alabama's head coach.
Hey, this is Jarin Stevenson, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
All right, good morning. And it's great to see all of you and be here at SEC Media Days. Thank you, Commissioner, for the introduction. Appreciate all your leadership. That's probably the first thing I would say is just in 6 quick months, I've had a chance to get a taste of the SEC, and whether it's Commissioner Sankey or all the coaches that are part of our great football conference. It's just been awesome seeing the leadership, being a part of a bunch of people that want to change and continue to evolve the great game of football as well as college athletics. So I want to thank all of you for being here. Appreciate all the support and all the coverage you give our programs, not just mine, but college football in general. So it's a great sport, and thanks for all the stories. We got so many great players. I got some here today that have amazing journeys that I know, we want those stories out there and be told. So speaking of, I got 3 great gentlemen, Jalen Milroe, our quarterback, Malachi Moore, our safety, and Tyler Booker, who I know you'll see throughout the day. These guys have just been special from the beginning. Probably 3 of the guys that when I really look at it and all the craziness with transition and coming into the program myself, 3 of the guys that just never wavered from the beginning. And they just really believed in themselves. They believed in the program. They believed in our coaching staff as we continued to present and make the hires. But they just really have stayed steady. And because of their leadership, I feel the culture's continued to grow, and we had a great winter, great spring, and really looking forward to the season that lies ahead. It's been 6 months, 6 months in Tuscaloosa. It's been extremely welcoming to come into the community. Of course, I love their football and athletics and as a whole. And just being welcomed, my family and I, it's been special. It's made the transition easy for myself. And then also, I just want to say that, in the transition, I can't thank our president, Dr. Bell, as well as our AD, Greg Byrne, enough for just their support and everything that they've done to help acclimate me and our staff and just do the things that we need to do to hit the ground running. It takes a village, and Greg did a great job hiring an athletic department full of staff, whether it's administrative or other head coaches, who've just been a pleasure to come to the work, in the department and bring the energy. I was fortunate enough to pretty much show up and within a month or so get a chance to support Nate Oates and our basketball team making a Final Four run, and not long after that, our softball team making a trip to the College World Series, Women's College World Series, and other great, teams and the department as a whole is in such a great place because of Greg's leadership. When it comes to just our staff, I couldn't be more proud of just how far we've come just in a short amount of time. The belief and trust in our team starts with these guys. And it's not just the on-the-field staff, it's the off-the-field staff. And, meshing a staff where we retained many that were super critical, whether it's strength and conditioning with David Ballou, our training staff with Jeff Allen, and other departments as well. The meshing of our staff with those that we retained and those that I brought in with me. It's been awesome, feeling the energy, feeling the excitement. Every day I walk in the building, it's such a pleasure to go to work with these people. They're beyond motivated. They're driven to be great, driven to uphold the great standard of Alabama football. We have a lot of work ahead, and I know when it comes to our team, we had a great spring. I think they felt that as well. We were able to retain pretty much the entire roster. We did lose 2 guys to the portal, but overall, between the winter and the spring, we've picked up 14 and guys that I think, they don't just add depth to our program, they come in and make a difference, and they add to the guys that have continued to develop and grow within our program. Looking forward to hitting the field 2 weeks from today at this very time. We'll be in practice, which is exciting. I love being on the grass with the guys. Love being out there working with them. It's what it's all about. It's why we do what we do as coaches, and really looking forward to that. So, they understand that there was a gap that needed to be closed early on. And I say that because anytime you institute and you're incorporating new strategies, whether it's offensively, defensively, special teams, along with just getting to know and building new relationships, there's a gap that you have to close because the programs that are continue to hit the ground running, continuing to kind of add to what they've done in the past because of their familiarity, they're in a place, and now I think we've closed that gap, and now the whole thing is focusing on separating ourselves. And this summer, just the focus, the commitment. I think if you asked our guys what they appreciate about each other right now is that they come in with a competitive mindset every single day, and I can see it. They have high goals and aspirations, but the actions support those goals that they each have. So they do it on the field, they do it off the field. I think they're just well-rounded team, a group of guys, academically, even in the spring, a 3.2 GPA. We had over 85. We had 85 of the 123 guys on our team have a 3.0 or higher. It just goes to show the focus and what type of people and players we have in our program. We returned, I guess it depends on how you look at it, 5 starters on offense, 5 starters on defense, a couple specialists, and those guys are going to be certainly counted on. I think we've brought in some players to help add to, again, not just the depth, but also to build and have an elite level of starters on the football field for us when August 31st comes around. I think their mindset of just going 1-0 and winning the day is something that I preach to them, and they've taken on that challenge. They show up, they put in the extra work. They try to, they understand that everyone's doing the same things. You just got to do it better and do it more often than those that we're going to be competing against throughout the season. Before I open up for questions, I do just want to say, I know I haven't seen Coach around here, but I do want to, first of all, congratulate Coach. I thought it was really cool winning the ESPY the other night, and got a chance to, finally, it seemed like every time I got a chance to see the speech, it was just a little blurb. Got to see the whole thing, and just like always, there's something that we've always taken from those speeches, well-deserved with that honor. And then personally, and from, I think on behalf of everyone with Alabama football and the University of Alabama, we appreciate everything Coach has done to make this foundation strong to where we can continue to build on it, continue to help those that are supportive of our program proud, and just appreciate all those years and hard work that's been put into this. And so with that, I'll open up for questions.
Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR, and don't miss out on your chance to experience the energy and excitement of the Great American Race. Witness history in the making and purchase your tickets today for the 2025 Daytona 500 at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. That's going to wrap up this edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. I do want to let you know our Wickles Weekend Update brought to you by our friends at Wickles Pickles. We will be back with Crimson Drive coming up next Thursday at 2 o'clock. As I mentioned before, we had a 2-week break for the summer vacation, but now we're back once a week through the end of August, and then game week will be back with you on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock with this show. But many more great conversations coming up with Crimson Tide student athletes, coaches, media members as well to get their thoughts on what's coming up for Alabama athletics this fall. But our Wickles Weekend Update, make sure you return coming up next Thursday, 2 o'clock for the next episode of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. And you're able to go back and watch the shows back, of course, on demand on our YouTube channel, as well as the Alabama Insider podcast. If you want to listen to any of these interviews in a podcast style, that's available wherever you get your podcasts. Special thanks to Ethan Carabin. He put this entire show together. Thanks to our guests that we were able to be joined in person by at the Advantage Center at Bryant-Denny Stadium, Jarin Stevenson of Alabama men's basketball, and Sydney Japic of the Crimson Tide soccer team. For everybody at the Crimson Tide Sports Network, this is Roger Hoover saying thank you for joining us. Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. We'll see you next week. Roll Tide, everyone.